welcome back to the RotoWire Fantasy Soccer Podcast. My name is Andrew Laird, Senior Soccer Editor of RotoWire. Joining us, what is today? Monday, January 25th, by Jordan Cooper to talk about Tuesday's Premier League slate. Jordan, we have almost like a real slate.
It's 4 games, but it's split in 2 different times.
But only 2.
You're right. Okay, we're getting better.
Middle of the day.
Better.
No early wake-ups.
Yeah, and the pricing isn't that everyone's overpriced. It's that you could build whatever lineup you want now.
Play whoever you want.
They go in these extremes that I almost don't understand how that happens.
It's like right when you get used to all right, I'm only going to be able to play 2 guys that I want, and I'll have to just grind out the rest. And now it's like, oh, here are 75 people I would play. Who do you want?
And you can play them all, and you can put all 75 in your lineup if you want.
Sure.
I mean, take a look at this slate. Okay, we have the biggest favorite on the slate is Man City minus 514 currently away to West Brom with a 3.25 total. Then we got then it's really a gap to Leeds minus 107 away to Newcastle 2.75 total. Then Arsenal plus 130 away. These are all away favorites.
Away favorites, yep.
To Southampton, 2.5 total. Then West Ham plus 141 away to Crystal Palace, and that's the lowest total at 2.25. But Man City's a minus 514 favorite against one of, if not the worst team in the Premier League, and they're one of the cheaper teams on the slate.
So I said in my article, not only did West Brom give up a ton of goals, more than anybody else, they give up more shots than anyone else, more shots on target, more crosses, more chances, everything you would want for a team to face, you get with Man City, who are basically the 3rd most expensive team on the slate.
Right. Which
at least
makes no sense.
It also helps that Kevin De Bruyne is out. So he
would have still been underpriced at 10,000.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. He would have been an easy fit at, how much was he? I didn't even 10 flat, which is absurd. He should be 13.5 on this slate. But he's out anyway. So we just get saving. It's almost like you automatically get 2,000 in savings just from not having him on the slate.
Right. And then at the forward position, we have plenty of guys to play.
Tons.
I think, the question in the slate is going to be, especially the building for cash games, is do you play this guy or do you play the price player on Man City
right
instead?
At every level.
At every level, right. I think from an overall perspective of your lineup construction, I think you're going to be saving a defense, and I think you're essentially going to be paying up everywhere to some extent. I think the two. I normally we talk about price brackets here, but I think the 2 biggest decisions at forward. I think you're possibly going to be playing forward eligible players in midfield spots also. You could on this slate, is the two choices that go in opposite directions for cash games would be Bukayo Saka at 9,400 and Gabriel Jesus at 6,300, because they represent the paradox of price versus the style of player, the variance of player that you want.
Sure.
So Saka now for Arsenal, assuming that he's the only one on the field. Pepe, Willian, those guys that they're not on.
Yeah.
He's been taking them, and he's essentially become their fulcrum of attack.
Yeah.
So open play value, a monopoly of set pieces, everything. But he's 9,400. Then you have Gabriel Jesus. Aguero's done. So you have to expect Jesus is going to start up top for the highest goal scoring slate. He's going to end up, he's currently plus 130, but he's going to inherit Aguero's goal scoring odds. So he'll be over even money to score. Right?
I bet it doesn't even change. They don't really adjust those.
No, well, they have Aguero at minus 155 on the cheat sheet, and Jesus has plus 130. I'm assuming with Aguero not starting and Jesus starting, Jesus will come in at, minus 130 or something at least?
I actually don't think they change.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus is that bad?
Yeah.
Okay. But he will be leading the line.
I don't mean that like metaphorically. Like I actually don't think goal scoring odds change once they're posted unless like something drastic happens. And like everybody knows Aguero's out.
Right.
So they just price everybody as if they're starting.
Okay. But he's going to lead the line for the highest total, biggest favorite, and he's 6,300.
He might.
He might. You're right. They could play Sterling up top and just play a false nine. You're right. I'd almost rather that. So I don't have to make the choice. Because the problem is that he's 6,300 and like he's obviously underpriced based on his goal, based on the fact that he's leading the line.
Yeah.
The highest total, biggest favorite team. And then Saka, I think he's still underpriced at 9,400 for that role. The question is that, well, obviously you have a limit on how many players you could play. And there are other options at forward that you could play that are cheaper than him.
I think in a vacuum, Saka is the best play on the slate. And because we don't play in a vacuum, I don't think he's even in consideration.
Really? You don't even think he's in consideration at all?
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I disagree with that a little.
I think with the Man City guys plus the Leeds guys, specifically Rafinha, who's $1,400 cheaper, I think 9,400 for any player not on Man City is too much.
Why can't you just play all of them? I mean, but the thing is, you can't. Trust me, you can.
Right. It depends how many Man City pieces
I could play 3 Man City players, Saka and Rafinha, in my lineup.
You're right. You can.
So the question is not if you do or do you do them together, because there are also other options. So like we have Saka up top. Rafinha's there also at 8,000. The problem, the ding on Rafinha is that, he's not a monopoly set piece guy. Harrison's there and Click's there and Phillips. I mean, lead set pieces I view as kind of like no one ever really has a monopoly of them. And Arsenal, Saka could have a monopoly of them. And
so with Aubameyang possibly out, which means Willian or Pepe could start, I don't think Saka's guaranteed if they're in.
Okay, well now that's different. Okay, Andrew, we're talking about something different. I said originally, if Saka's the only one out there, then I think he's underpriced for 9,400. But if you're going to play Bowen or Antonio for 8,400 and 8,200 in cash games, go take my head dads. How do you do that? How do they price up West Ham on this slate out of all teams? West Ham is priced more than Man City.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that. Feel free to go GPP, play large field. That's fine if you want to, but it makes no sense that West Ham should be these prices.
Agreed.
You could say the same thing for Bamford. When you look at Bamford at 7,700 and go, okay, that seems reasonable, but not when Jesus is 6,300 and Mahrez is 7,600 and Sterling is 7,800. Ferran Torres starts. He's 6,700. Bernardo Silva is 6,100. How do you play anyone in this range outside of like Rafinha, I guess, that's not a Man City player?
I mean, you were just talking about the guy who's 2,000 more.
Well, you could still play him also.
Okay. I think on
the low range, by the way, and you could play them in midfield positions. I think Easy at 6,200 or Townsend at 6,600. But I'd rather only one of them be in and then just play that guy.
Sure.
Than both of them. But to me, this is the range where do I play Easy or do I play Jesus?
I know that's like I mean, how do you justify playing Eze?
What do you mean, how do I justify it?
Over Jesus.
Take your 10-piece open play value versus Crystal Palace.
Okay.
You just said that Gabriel Jesus is horrible.
He is, but I still don't think. So if Pepe starts, does it take you off of Saka? And if it takes you off of Saka, do you play Pepe?
Now then I'll play Easy
Yeah.
or Jesus. Like
No,
Arsenal,
you can't. He's already playing. You won't know about Saka when you have to lock in Eze.
Oh, you're right. I won't. Yeah, most of the stuff that I want to play. I mean, obviously, Man City's in the
Right.
second wave of games.
Like the benefit of Saka is that if you don't want to play him, you can play any Man City guy.
So essentially, at the forward position, the guy that you have to decide on is Rafinha.
Right.
Because the Leeds Newcastle game and the West Ham Crystal Palace games. So basically, Rafinha, Easy, Townsend, like those are the guys.
Bowen.
But
Who you're not playing, but
you're not playing Bowen in cash games. No.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's essentially. But I mean, truthfully, you can make a lineup with all these guys.
You can.
I mean, that's how stupid this slate is. It's stupid in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm staring at a lineup right now that has 1, 2, 3 Man City players, Saka and Easy. So no Rafinha.
Right.
But I could turn any of these guys into Rafinha to start with,
Right.
and still have practically the same lineup.
Yep.
So I mean, if Saka doesn't start, I could turn him into Gundogan if I want. I could make. Yeah, you're right. With the fact that Saka is in the late games and you have 9,400 there, if you're jamming in Man City players as it is,
Doesn't matter.
right? You take him out and you might as well just play him anyway because you're going to be leaving money on the table.
Now you're playing Ederson instead of Johnstone.
Right.
It's probably
You don't
not
even
that
have to play
drastic.
John. You don't even have to pay down a goalkeeper this year. I mean, you don't.
You don't have to now.
I have Casilia in my lineup right now, or Mesli, or whoever's going to start.
Yeah.
I look at my lineup, and I may not even change this. I mean, this is almost too stupid to be able to make a lineup like this.
Leeds are like the obvious pivot away from Man City for tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Like full stack, I mean. Like if you're going to stack Man City, you could just stack Leeds also.
Right.
Just Bamford, Rafinha, Harrison, some fullbacks. Go nuts.
Whoever starts for them. Whoever. Doesn't matter.
So going to midfield.
Okay, so we don't even have to dumpster dive at forward.
Yeah, I mean.
There's no point.
I think Bernardo Silva is the cheapest reasonable cash forward.
How about Pepe? Pepe's reasonable enough.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Right, but I mean, you're not going down. You're not playing Walcott or Almiron or Barama if he's in or any of these Hope. I mean, you're not playing any of these guys.
Nope.
Wendell Smallbone, who somehow is still forward eligible, but he's out.
He's out. He got hurt.
He's questionable. Oh, he's out.
I don't even think you'd play your boy Helder Costa if he was starting.
No, there's no need to.
Right.
I think you're plugging in Phil Foden and just calling it a day.
Yep.
There's no day. Oh, 8,800. That's a little pricey for Foden. Yeah, but De Bruyne's out, and Foden's been taking nearly every set piece.
I mean, I think you could make the case that Foden should be 10,000.
No, I agree with you. And if it was 10,000, you'd still be able to play everyone else. So it still doesn't matter.
I think the real question is whether you play James Ward-Prowse or not.
I think the question comes in: do you play Ward-Prowse or do you play Gabriel Jesus?
Right.
Because they're about the 6,500 range.
Yep.
You're not, even if Willian's in, I'm not going to play him at 6,800.
No.
What has happened with him?
He stinks.
He's fallen
Simple
from grace. And you're probably not playing Gundogan at 7,100.
I think people will play Gundogan at 7,100.
Really? They'll game log watch and look at that?
I'm not going to. I mean, I think there will definitely be a thought like, oh, he's taking set pieces and he'll move up because De Bruyne isn't there, and like, just play Foden and don't
not
play
at
both.
7,100. It's weird for me to say. I almost would rather play Matt Ritchie, and I never play Matt Ritchie. Not at 7,300.
Now, if you're going to play Matt Ritchie, you should just play Jack Harrison.
If you're going to play either of them, you might as well withdraw.
Jack Harrison at least is a Man City player, or actually they might have sold him, but he was a Man City.
Right, he was a Man City loanee or
New York City FC also.
Right. No, I don't mind. I don't mind Ward-Prowse at all. But to me, he's not a priority. He's like, okay, fits.
Yeah.
Would you play Ward-Prowse or Eze or Townsend?
I would play one of Eze or Townsend if the other was out.
Right.
But if both
before
start,
you played Ward-Prowse,
if
right.
both start,
if
then
both
it's
were
Ward-Prowse.
starting, you'd rather Ward-Prowse because you know what you're getting. Ward-Prowse is like vanilla ice cream.
If I told you that Ward-Prowse was absolutely guaranteed 10 points, do you play him over Jesus?
Yes. Because Jesus.
Guess what? I mean, all right.
Because I don't have to worry about my forward spots on the slate.
Right.
So, it's not like, oh, I need to play Jesus because he's forward eligible and he's 6,300. It's like, well, I could play who knows how many other people.
Right. Like, I'm not sure you're playing Eze and Townsend if they were just midfield.
Yeah, they'd be okay. But I'd rather play Ward-Prowse
right.
over them if they're both on at the same time. I think outside of that, I think you have the cheapest you go at midfield is John Joe Shelby at 5,000. But I don't even think you need to.
Yeah, I wrote up Frazier at 53 if he started, but it was
the
more
same
like
type. Basically the cheaper Newcastle set piece taker.
Yeah.
But I mean, on this slate, literally, I'd rather there are defenders to play at cheap prices than midfielders. So if I'm going to pay down, it's going to be a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Basically to me under Shelby, given obviously we don't know what the starting lineups or anything is. You never know. Someone shows up. There's no one down. There's no one. Yeah. If Milivojevic is on and Townsend and Eze are off and maybe then McCarthy's not there. Yeah, there's maybe a case for Milivojevic or something like that. Or Sean Longstaff if all the Newcastle players died. That type of thing. Right. I get it. Or Xhaka if all of Arsenal decides to leave. They all say we want Mesut Ozil back and we're gonna who wants that guy back? Thank God he's gone.
He's still in the player pool.
He's still in the player pool? Can I play him?
Stone minimum 3,000.
Is he going to be in? He'll be in some Europa slate, right, for Fenerbahce at some point?
Probably. I'm actually going to say that of all of the players under Shelby, even in their absolute best case scenarios, you don't play them.
Right. With the context of pricing on this slate, right? Of course you don't. Not even Mark Noble.
Right, you would have to tell me that there was 100% chance that Mark Noble gets 2 penalties, and then maybe I play it.
Right. It's to me, it's more of a positional thing.
Right.
You feel like the opportunity costs at your forward and midfield spots are so high with so many underpriced players that why you taking an efficiently priced 4K guy and not taking all the underpriced 6 to 8K guys?
Right.
Just take them all because the defense. The defender position is actually the most efficient position on the slate.
It is the only efficient position.
It's the only one, with the exception of maybe 3 guys, only because they made the prices before injuries and suspensions.
Yep.
So, here's the question: are you paying up for Aaron Cresswell at 6,500? Because I'm not.
Nope.
And you'd rather play in a utility spot. You'd rather play Ward-Prowse over Cresswell. You'd rather play Eze, Townsend, Pepe, Willian, even and Jesus, and I mean we can name all the 6K range players. They would probably all come, pretty much all of them come before Cresswell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the same thing. In a vacuum, I think they're fine, but they're
We're not in a vacuum.
Right, we're not in a vacuum. I think João Cancelo is underpriced, but
Okay.
the positional scarcity, or not scarcity, but the positional priority at defense is just not worth paying down somewhere else to get him.
Right. Right. If I'm going to play a $5,300 player, it's going to be some 6K midfielder.
Right.
Not a 53, and I'll pay down at goalkeeper. So all these guys, I'm scrolling through, and it's efficient, a little overpriced. slightly underpriced maybe. But really, all I'm doing is scrolling down, and I'm going, who's going to start for Southampton?
Yeah.
Right.
I think the real question is, do you play both of them?
Well, I think you're playing 2 of this set of 3 in cash. Valeri, Vokins, Tyreek Mitchell for 3,500.
Yep.
And I don't even think Mitchell, like, maybe you just play both of them and you pay for Ederson and you're good. Like I have a lineup here with Valeri and Mitchell that has Casilla in it. Like, that could easily turn Mitchell into Vokins and Casilla into Ederson, and I'm done. Like, Mitchell, to me, the difference between Mitchell and one of the Southampton fullbacks is nothing. Right? I mean, like, what is there that much of a difference? No.
The way I was trying to explain it in my article is that, like, choosing between, I think it's Valerie, actually.
Larry.
I think it's Valerie.
I'll be the one to mispronounce it.
Yeah.
I still call him Easy E.
Right. Well, right.
And, still don't correct me.
Right. Anyway, between him and Vokins I was saying, like, I prefer Vokins because I don't know anything about him. Whereas, like, I've had plenty of lineups with Valerie or Valeri that he finishes with, like, 0.68 because he committed 3 fouls and had a yellow card. And I haven't been burned by Vokins, and for $100 more, I'm willing to take that complete unknown. But I think you could play both.
Right. I think the difference between the cheap, I mean, they're priced as underdog center backs.
So,
and they're going to get forward enough that can he get me 3 to 5 points? And give it to me.
If you're thinking of Tyreek Mitchell at 3,500, why are you not just playing Ruben Diaz at 3,600?
You're right. I mean, why not just play the favorite center back?
Right. I mean, Stones is 39. And he scored recently, which means he should be like 55.
Right, because that's what they do on DraftKings.
Right.
But I still think you're paying down at both defender spots.
I agree.
And it's not because everyone is overpriced everywhere else and that's the only way you get them. It's because why not just fill up all your other spots with the best plays on the slate?
Right.
Like, it's not one of those things where, like, the only way to get KDB and Bruno Fernandes is to pay down 20. Like no, it's just, I don't want to pay less than 5,000 for any player. I don't want to pay less than 6,000 for any other player on the slate.
Right.
Right. And I can if I just punted 2 defender spots instead of playing Stuart Dallas at 5,200 for no apparent reason. I mean, it's not like he's a bad play there. It's just that okay, great, he's 5,200, right? I mean, we're looking at prices here that they're efficient. If you don't want to play Mitchell and you want to play Bellerin instead for 3,900, okay, I'm not yelling at you for that, but why not just pay 2,700 and still get the same 5 points?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah. Even with that, I think John Stone's still going to be popular.
Right, because game log, people look, he scored a goal. Oh, well.
Well, not game log, just he's the cheapest.
Right. But even we're making fun of this slate for being, like, too soft, pricing-wise. There are still a lot of combinations you can make of these plays. Like, look how many players that we mentioned. And if you could make 20 different cash lineups, and I'd look at it and go, nope, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have to decide which one you want to play. I mean,
right.
It's going to come down to, is Gabriel Jesus going to score, or is James Ward-Prowse's 10 good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's going to be that. And whoever wins that battle wins the double up. And then even if it comes down to, I played Tyreek Mitchell and the Leeds goalkeeper, and you played Vokins and Ederson, and then let's see if Man City concedes 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if West Brom gets a lucky one here. And then, obviously, whichever goalkeeper Andrew has is going to lose.
Right.
Right.
I'm actually taking Andy Lonergan.
Oh, you're going to take the automatic 0.
Maybe.
I don't think you have to pay down. I think
I agree.
think
I see why you would, though.
What are you paying for? Yeah, you're paying up at a defender spot?
No, you just you're playing 4 guys over 8,000.
Okay, I mean that's more of a GPP lineup then. You're playing Saka, Rafinha, Sterling,
Foden,
and then you have to pay down there. But that seems, even for GPP, that makes somewhat no sense because now you're stacking against your goalkeeper. But I guess we've seen that work out before.
Yeah.
Right? What does
Waiting
that
to hear the problem, Jordan.
Right. But I think I'm much more likely to have like the leads. I think it's going to be in that Fabianski, Meslier. Like Meslier is actually 100 less than Casilla.
Mm-hmm.
And Meslier should be fine. Leno, I think it's going to be somewhere like that. Maybe McCarthy. We can just name every goalkeeper.
Right. I think we just did. Yeah.
It really depends on am I paying 400 more up here, right? If I'm paying 400, like it's those types of things. So, good luck.
So you're saying like if you saw 20 cash lineups and you'd think they were all fine. I think there's one player who should be in all 20 though.
Foden.
Yeah.
He's the only midfield only eligible player. Then yeah, I think Foden should be in all of them.
Yeah, like I think that's the important
I guess you
caveat.
could make. It depends. If Mahrez starts, I could see a non-Foden lineup.
I just see Foden Mahrez lineups.
Right. I mean, that's what I would know. The thing is that yes, that's what I would see. But I could see other ones also. Like I'm not going to put on my Foden goggles and be like just whatever he is, because you can build Mahrez and.
You're going to go Mahrez Bowen because you have the money, and you're like, you don't want to do that.
No, I'm playing Saka, and I'm playing Rafinha, and I still have 5,000 remaining player salary. And once I pay down twice at defense, here comes Phil Foden. It's going to happen no matter what.
Right.
Okay. Because what am I going to do? Like not play Phil Foden and play Gundogan or Richie or something like that? Or like, what am I stupid?
What are you doing?
Right. What am I doing?
Now we're looking for your head-to-heads.
Right. I'm going to be jamming in all the Arsenal players. Willie and Pepe and Saka are in. Got to play all 3.
Yeah, got to make sure you get all of them.
Right. I got to play all. I got to have the market on Arsenal set pieces.
Mm-hmm. It's all about scarcity.
Right. And find out that 2 of them get subbed off at 57 minutes, and Granit Xhaka takes 8 of them. You're like, I should have paid down there also.
Should have, yeah.
And they still lose to Southampton 2-0.
3,300. The Man City prices are absurd. That's all.
Right. But we say that they're absurd, yet I'm pretty sure I'm going to find the guy that plays me in head-to-head that has Lacazette and Danny Ings in his lineup. I mean, that's just it. Trust me, I see this Bamford.
It will definitely be Bamford, yeah.
Right. I never understand. I thank them for my head-to-heads and hope that guy doesn't score a hat trick.
Right.
Like that's essentially what I do. It's not like I get all those types of head-to-heads, but I go through. It seems like every week there's someone that's just like looked at the goal-scoring odds and said, if I could just play the top 3 guys with goal-scoring odds and then find something else, like I think that's a good lineup for head-to-heads. And usually it's not. Usually they score like 33 points against
usually
me.
It's not.
All right. It's either they score 33 points against me or 172.
Right.
And I lose by 70 in a head-to-head. And I was like, okay, great. Those extra 69 points didn't do you anything.
Right. You just hope that happens once or twice so that the other 8 or 9 times you get the 33.
Right.
All right. Anybody has any follow for Jordan, you can find him on Twitter at BlenderHead. That's BlenderHD. I'm at RotoWire Andrew. I'm also available in the RotoWire Discord, which is open for all subscribers. Just go to rotowire.com/chat to get in there. If you are not a subscriber and would like to try us out, you can just go to rotowire.com/pod. That's POD to get 10 free days to the site, which includes all of our sports as well as all of the Discord. So check that out. Jordan, thank you for that, and good luck on Tuesday.